I have known plenty of executive, they call themselves executive coaches, who are just doing executive consulting and are telling CEOs and C-suite level people what to do, how to run their business, and they're giving terrible advice. I have examples. But we won't share sheets. But the reality is that's not what we're talking about when we are referring to coaching. We're really talking about the people who are there to help guide you to get to your own outcome.
Like, that is the most beautiful experience that I had with coaching, is that the answer was always within myself. And I don't use extreme words like always very often. I'm very intentional about that. But it is like the answer is within us. And coaches are there to lead you through questioning, through reflection, through mirroring, all of the beautiful tools that they use to really show you, and like, oh yeah, like that is. Or I'm gonna be real honest, in my own experience of coaching, sometimes that mirror is really dirty. And you're like, oh no. Hello everyone, welcome back. So good to see you. This season is like flying by again.
As it always does.
Y'all are like, stop saying that. We know it's fast. I am super excited about this episode. So I would love to like set it up and then let's dive into it. So I will say that I will speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm speaking on behalf of you as well. Coaching, like professional and personal coaching, has literally changed my life in the best of ways. And I don't think I can overstate the impact that coaching has had. And I know I would agree. I think you would agree. Yes. And so we thought it was really important to talk a little bit about our own experience with coaching, like what it is, kind of what it unlocked, things like that. And then we have an offering at Summit this year that we are so excited about and want to share a little bit more about that, and maybe how you can experience your own coaching and hopefully set yourself up on a journey that will change your life too. So what would you say about, I mean, I know I didn't get into too specifics, but do you want to start out with your experience with coaching?
Absolutely, yes. So I will start by saying, let's define a little bit what we mean when we say coaching, because not everyone has experienced coaching before or has access to coaching. And I do think there are some folks who are like, wait a minute, is that like therapy but for work? What are we talking about with coaching? And it is a little bit like therapy, but it's therapy in a professional setting and really can be focused on anything that you want it to be focused on. And there's all different kinds of coaching available. So I will say that Rachel and I have had access to multiple types of coaching. There is a certification. So there is a organizing body that coaches can get certified through that body. And so you can definitely try and find coaches who are certified if you're looking to, find someone who's truly credible in their field. But not all coaches are certified. And we have had successful experiences with coaches from all ends of the spectrum. So coaches who are certified through that certifying body, and then other coaches who, through their time and experience and just professional agency, have created their own coaching model and or business. And so we've experienced all of it. And I will say, it's not for everyone. Not every coach is for every person, just like not every therapist is for every person. So you do have to find the right fit, and that's okay. That's part of the journey. So before we start sharing our personal experiences, I do just want to set it up that it doesn't have to be prescribed, or it's not one size fits all from an experience standpoint. You do have to find someone who fits what you're looking for. But the beautiful thing about coaching, and just I think this is true for all coaches, it really is about you. It's about what you want to achieve, what goals you have, and the coach is there to really guide and ask really thought-provoking, critical thought types of questions that allow you to explore in a safe space what you might need to do, what development you need to focus on, what you can do to achieve some of the goals that you have. And that, it sounds so simple, but think about your day. Think about how much time you spend in your day really truly focused on like your personal goals and
Mhm.
having dedicated time and space and energy to actually sit and think about how you're going to achieve those goals. We never do that for ourselves inside of a work day or a home day or any of the things that we're experiencing. Your life takes up capacity. And so this gives you a really focused, dedicated space. And I know that's the entry point for me in
Mhm.
terms of it was life-changing. It had all of these profound impacts, but the first impact that I felt was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a dedicated space." I had a very similar experience with therapy where it was like I didn't know what I wanted or needed from it,
Mhm.
and the first benefit I found was like, this is a dedicated environment. It's 60 minutes or however long. They can be 30 minutes, they can be 90 minutes. It's a container
Mhm.
for dedicated focus and time and energy, and man, I didn't know I needed that
Mhm.
until I had it.
Mhm.
And then I was like, "Okay, this is a game changer. Not only do I need to prioritize this, I've gotta figure out how." Like, I it created some acceleration for me, like,
Mhm.
a sense of urgency around I'm seeing real-time impacts of, like, things that I've discovered in these coaching calls or coaching meetings, and then the application was immediate. I could take it right
Mhm.
back into my work environment or my home environment.
Mhm.
This transcends your professional life. This will be it can be, if you're open to it, game changing for your entire life,
Yeah.
not just professional life. So I will say that's the first impact that I experienced immediately was just having that dedicated time and space was so powerful for
Mhm.
me.
Mhm. I love that. Same. And it is not a gender thing, but I'm gonna shout out to all the moms out there like that. That really is. We both are moms, and it's like, oh yeah, like I have an opportunity
Me.
to do that. I think the first impact for me that I really love about coaching was really that it was kind of the same coin, two sides. There was no right or wrong way to do it. Like, right? Like we're often looking at like I have to do this or this is the right way or this is the wrong way, and so often that our our actions, our movements are so soaked in our own judgment of, oh no, this was right, this was wrong. And so coaching really frees it up to say this is focused on you. You mentioned it, your goals, your what you want to achieve, what you want to elevate to. And so coaching gives you the opportunity, which leads me to kind of the second side of that coin, is that it's all within you.
Mhm.
Like that is the most beautiful experience that I had with coaching is that the answer was always within myself. And I don't use extreme words like always very often. I'm very intentional about that. But it is
Mhm.
like the answer is within us. And coaches are there to lead you through questioning, through reflection, through mirroring, all of the beautiful tools that they use to really show you and like, oh, yeah, like that is. Or I'm going to be real honest in my own experience of coaching. Sometimes that mirror is really dirty. And you're like, oh no, that was in me too. But shining a light on it gives you an opportunity to bring it to the surface and elevate it in a way. There's so often that kind of part of you that you don't really want to address and you don't really want to think about, and it's got a tarp thrown over it. Friends, Friends, series fans will remember the closet, Monica's closet. Like, we all have that internally, Monica's closet in us, and being able to have someone shine a light on that is so impactful because we have no idea, but it almost always impacts the way we show up with other people, the way we show up in our work, at home, in our communities and spaces. So having someone gracefully and gently
Mhm.
shine that light for us so we can start to clean it out and unpack it in a way that is helpful and meaningful. That was really I think, game changing for me.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned is really important. It was definitely a cornerstone for, I think, both of our experiences in coaching is that that guiding and support and care that
Mhm.
happens around the unpacking, 'cause it can get really uncomfortable. There are lots of things that we very intentionally store in dark places behind locked doors
Yep.
for a reason. And to shine light on that can be really uncomfortable. And then to start to unpack it can really get scary and uncomfortable. And there's a lot of unknowns. And you are looking at things about yourself that may not feel good.
Yep.
And having someone, a trusted partner, and I did experience that with my coaches. It felt like having somebody who was there with you to
Mhm.
unpack it.
Mhm.
There's so much care and compassion that happens in those spaces, and it sounds a little woo woo if you if you listen to our first episode. Katie, uh, our dear Katie Mercier was talking about woo woo experiences, and it's not like that at
Yeah.
all, really. The experience in it, like, it's very natural and organic, and it doesn't feel that way when you're in the moment, but when you're stepping back and to reflect
Mhm.
on the work that you actually get to do in a coaching partnership,
Mhm.
it's big work. It can be very life-changing things that you're looking at. And so I think that partnership and that relationship is an important part. And that's why I would go back to that, having that relationship and
Mhm.
finding the person that you
Mhm.
can create that space with is part of the journey. And that's not going to be everyone's not going to be a fit
Yeah.
for every coach, and every coach is not going to be a fit for every person. So I would really advocate that you find
Mhm.
the partner who is going to be supportive of you in that journey. You talked about that self-reflection. I feel like we do this every episode in some capacity where we're talking about it's actually within you.
See
Seal of
all.
season 2. But it's so true
Mhm.
that that's the other beautiful thing about coaching is it is sometimes you're like, what did they actually do? Because it was me, I did all the talking, I did all of the answering of the questions, but they know when to ask the questions, when to they can definitely sense, like, "Okay, that is a door that is not ready to be
Mhm.
unlocked. You're not ready to explore that door yet."
Mhm.
But having someone who can be intuitive with you in that space, I have found coaches have that. If they're a successful coach,
Mhm.
they have a deep intuition about people. So if you're experiencing something different, you probably haven't found the right coach, because
Mhm.
great coaches, that is a cornerstone of their skill set, which is that they can relate to humans on a level that gives them access
Yeah.
to things that are not being said. You know, obviously they're reading body language, obviously they're adept at the relational components of being in a room with someone,
Mhm.
but there's something deeper about skilled coaches
Mhm.
where they can access you and can sense, like, "Oh, Rachel's ready to explore this
Mhm.
today. Let's go for it.
Mhm.
I have great questions that will,
Mhm.
hopefully help Rachel talk through this." Or, "Wow, that door is really icy. We're not gonna touch that door today," which
Chains and
happens.
locks.
Yeah, which happens, and hopefully it's a progressive journey
Mhm.
and a progressive experience. I have also found I now inspect myself differently than
Mhm.
I ever did before I had coaching
Mhm.
experiences.
Mhm.
I ask myself questions constantly about experiences that I have, or interactions, or even performance. If I'm on a stage and delivering something, the way that I can access my own introspection dramatically different
Mhm.
after having excellent coaches.
Mhm. Yeah, I will 100% agree, obviously. And I'm as I'm kind of thinking through some of my various coaching experiences, I have we've touted the benefits. Maybe we can offer a cautionary tale or two. Anyone who is out there and is like, I don't even know how to go about finding a coach. Like, we know some excellent ones. We know a lot of coaches who understand the administrative community, understand the challenges. So, shout out a little bit if you're like, I don't even know where to start.
Mhm.
Talk to us. We love, love, love to share.
We have
But
some great recs.
we do. Of course we do. But I also have experienced outside of the community in searching for my own coaching. One of the cautionary tales that I would love to share is a coach will not tell you what to do. So there may be some guiding, there may be, there's questions and they may say, based on this, I'm hearing this, that is a natural part of
Mhm.
coaching. But if you have a coach who is instructive or who is prescriptive, who is like, you should do this and you should feel this and you should do this, like not coaching. And I would just caution you to examine that relationship because I've experienced it. I
Yes.
had I was a couple in and I was like, wait a second, a couple sessions in. It's like, wait a second, this doesn't I'm not this isn't vibing. This isn't supposed to feel like this. So that's one that I would say as any of our community are thinking about their journey into coaching or what that might look like. That's a cautionary tale that I
Very
would
much.
offer.
And I think that that goes back to the credibility. And, I will say if you're trying to search out coaches who have been trained
Mhm.
to truly coach and not instruct, people who are certified with the ICF
Mhm.
coaching,
Mhm.
that is the whole
That's a hallmark.
fundamental hallmark of that model.
Mhm.
And the reality is it might be helpful for you to find someone who's more consultative than they
Mhm.
are coaching.
Mhm.
It depends on what you're looking for and what your needs are.
Mhm.
And to your point, there is some caution I would throw around anyone who's telling you,
Mhm.
giving advice, as we know, just in our day-to-day experience. There might be a little bit of benefit to it, but by and large, you discovering what you want and need to do because you've come to a decision that you feel aligned to and you have your whole heart
Mhm.
is in that decision,
Mhm.
it makes for better better results. We know that. We know
Yeah.
that that's true, that's factual. So
Yeah.
to just
Especially
have
long
someone
term.
tell you,
Mhm.
"Here's what you need to do to fix this problem,"
Mhm.
I mean, also, I don't know why you would pay someone to do that because you could walk up to anyone and get advice for free.
It sounds good in the moment in a
It does.
difficult
It feels
situation.
good. It's
Yeah.
quick. Yeah, it's quick and it feels easy. But at the end of the day, most of the time, when you go back and look at some of those things, you're like, oh, well, of course they gave me terrible advice. They didn't have all of the context or they
Mhm.
didn't know what they needed to know. I had all of that context and information. I needed to make a decision. So it is telling
Mhm.
that that is something I would definitely put some caution around, and if that is your experience, they're not coaching.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's fine. If you
Mhm.
if you want a consultant, I have known plenty of executive they call themselves executive coaches who are just doing executive consulting and are telling CEOs and
Mhm.
C-suite level people what to do, how to run their business, and they're giving terrible advice. I have examples. But we won't share
We
the
won't share.
receipts. But the reality is that's not what we're talking about when we are referring to coaching. We're really talking about the people who are there to help guide you to get to your own
Mhm.
outcome, make your own decisions, figure out what the solutions to your own challenges or problems are. That's what coaching really should look like, what it can look like.
Mhm.
That's that's the more transformative part of the experience of coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, and you hit on something so important that I think we should highlight before we kind of dive into the ways that our community can connect with coaching is that when we hear professional coaching, I think we society-wide hear professional coaching, we often think executive coaching.
Right.
We think thousands of dollars, we think, this experience that is only reserved for the quote unquote elite few who deserve coaching, or there's a lot of nuance and connotation around that. And we're here to tell you that is not true. There's I'm not demeaning or dismissing executive coaching. That is an important um aspect of what it is, but coaching is available and beneficial to anyone in any role any day. I will take that to the bank.
Accessible too. So even from a price point
Yes.
uh, perspective, it is accessible. And I think people may not even know that, may not even explore it because we think executive coaching super expensive only for C-suite
Yeah.
level players. And the reality is that's not true.
It's not. It's absolutely not. And we have several people in our community, I can think of several off the top of my head, who have experienced coaching, and it also has changed the trajectory of your life. So if you're listening to this and you're like, Rachel, Mel, I can't, there's no way I can afford that. Like, no, my executive has a coach and I see their expense report and I know how much that costs. Like, that is there's a place for that, and that is not the only way to
Mhm.
access coaching. So, one of the ways that we
Beautiful
can
Sunday. Beautiful.
thank you, those plans. One of the ways that we have coaching available is at Summit this year in LA. And we've partnered with an organization, it's called Lumia, and they offer certification training. You mentioned certified coaches, excuse me. Try saying that 3 times fast. And they are partnering with us to offer free like speed coaching to all of the attendees at Summit. So if you are someone who is thinking about coaching, the great thing about speed coaching too, both you and I have experienced long-term, more in-depth coaching, but a great way to kind of test it out. Or if you have this one challenge that you're like, gosh, I'm stuck in this thing and just cannot get past it. Speed coaching is an amazing way to really access coaching in a way that feels warm if you haven't done it yet. And also at Summit, it's totally free. Like, it is for some first come, first serve. We will give you all of the details. We don't need to go into logistics here, but that is something that I personally am really excited about, and dare I say proud of, that we are able to partner with organizations who have coaches who are ready to help, ready to learn more about the administrative profession. We're meeting with all of the coaches beforehand to explain the unique challenges of the profession. So they are going in eyes wide open, lenses clear, ready to hear you and guide you and challenge you in ways that are helpful to help you get unstuck in whatever way you are feeling in that moment. And
Mhm.
if you want to do a longer term kind of agreement with them, that is totally up to you. Very open. Like I said, all of the logistics and the details we'll send out, but I don't know if you can
It's a
tell
great
I'm super excited.
opportunity. And not only a great opportunity, but we hope it is that touch point that for folks who don't know or have never experienced coaching before, you can sort of dip your toe in the water
Mhm,
and find out if coaching is for you. It's not for everyone. Not
mhm.
everyone is going to vibe in that type of environment.
Yeah.
But if you're curious about it and you just want to know, that summit experience is a beautiful way
Mm.
to sort of get that experience. The other way that you could get access to some free coaching is if you are a volunteer leader at IAAP, wink, wink, you do have access. Every year, our board members train with a certified coach,
Mhm.
and they do provide coaching for volunteer leaders who are really interested in stepping up their game from a leadership perspective. Obviously, we're focused on leadership within the association, and that's what the coaching really is designed around. But
Mhm.
it's that space where you talk about some of the challenges. As we said, what you experience in IAAP transfers and translates to your work environment, your home environment, all of the places where you live, work, play. This is going to have lasting impact in all of those spaces. So, just a shameless plug that, if you're looking for access to leadership development and,
Mm.
that's not going to cost you a ton of money, not something you're going to have to ask your employer for anything except for support
Mhm.
time, And even that, the commitment levels, there's all different types and kinds of commitment levels that you can make. And I know our board members are every year they have phenomenal experiences in the coaching space. So it's also a learning environment because they're learning how to coach, how to navigate that coaching experience. And the people in the coaching are learning constantly. So it also gives you access to maybe potentially see what it's like to play on the other side, which is the board experience, and could lead you down a path to board service.
Yeah. Development almost never happens in a vacuum, right? So whatever development you go with, even if it is within IAAP and more focused on that, it has lasting ripple effects. It has to. We're whole humans and we bring our whole selves to everything we do. So I love that shout out. Absolutely. Well, I think we're probably out of time, but come to Summit, come to LA.
We'd love to see you there.
We would love to see you there if you are able to join us and want to learn more about the coaching experience, give us a shout. We'd love to talk about this until you're like, okay, I got it. Enough. I'll go.
Yeah, well, and I was going to say too, I think both of us have individual personal stories about some of the actual literal changes that have happened. And we could not even, we don't have enough time to scratch that surface in a podcast episode. But I know Rachel and I are both very open to having a individual one-on-one conversation with you. If you just want to talk about like, what were some of the literal things that happened? What changed? How did your life change because of coaching? We are here for that combo too. So please reach out anytime.
Yep. Absolutely. We'll see you next time. Thanks, y'all.
See you later.
Bye.